film can not only entertain, but also inform, educate, and cultivate ideas for viewers, sometimes directly, sometimes metaphorically. The responsibility of a director is to bring these ideas to life on screen. He or she must piece all of the elements of a film together, the story, the cast, the setting, into a cohesive and enjoyable watching experience. There are directors who derive their stories from others or adapt it from an existing source, whose sole purpose is to entertain the audience. There are also those who want to convey a message to an audience. Throughout film history, there have been movies containing jagged social commentary pertinent to their time of release. These films emit frustrations, fears, and condemnations with society and the nature and even the fate of humanity. These films were directed by artists who believed that their responsibilities surpassed simply bringing an idea to screen, but to also shine a light on the state of humanity that they felt was necessary to critique. In this analysis, we will discuss 3 films by directors presenting social arguments about the Italian social climate, ranging from critiques of political regimes to an almost complete loss of humanity altogether. These films include Paolo Sorrentino's The Great Beauty, Linda Wertmüller's Love and Anarchy, and Matteo Garrone's Gomorrah. The Great Beauty is director Paolo Sorrentino's cautious tale of excess and lackadaisical behavior in modern-day Rome. The film follows Jep, an acclaimed novelist with writer's block and a love for grandiose parties. The nonlinear story follows Jep through his adventures and misadventures through the Roman nightlife and aristocracy. The tale is one of surfeit, indulgences, and a stagnation of culture and common sense. Sorrentino's take on modern Roman society can be attributed to the last decade of tumultuous politics under the administration of Silvio Berlusconi. Once the already famous media mogul took the reins of the country, aesthetics and extravagance spread rapid through the social high classes of Italy. Berlusconi's conduct, his insistence on having fun as a categorical imperative on the ephemeral, left its mark on Italy. If it's done by someone in a position of great responsibility, it becomes, in my view, a kind of license for many people, says Sorrentino. What is created is an adrift culture of vanity and hebetude, complete with Botox assembly lines and listless arguments as to what made it all go wrong.
Perché non mi lascia parlare del mio accidentato, sofferto ma indispensabile percorso d'artista?
Ma indispensabile a chi? Santo cielo, signora, che cos'è una vibrazione?
Non lo so che cos'è una vibrazione,
Non lo
cerca
so.
perderla, non lo so.
Non lo
Sei
so.
un ossessivo del cazzo, sai?
Though The Great Beauty has received almost universal acclaim across the world, its commentary on Rome's societal imperfections, and Italy as a whole for that matter, has received substantial criticism. Some claiming it was a far too dramatic and pretentious depiction of what may or may not be modern-day Rome. The film makes you face questions that might be irritating, says Sorrentino. There's a tendency among Italians to say, "We're not part of that. I'm not part of that." Many people went out of their way to say that they weren't part of it, and they were the ones who were most part of it. The Great Beauty holds society up to a mirror, heightening its imperfections and absurdities for all to see, pertinent, and sometimes hard to swallow.
You know, everybody's talking about the good old days, right?
The photographers are on the barricades at the heart of the events, and they go where the RAI's TV cameras do not. With their photos, they describe an Italy in turmoil, suspended between utopia and violence.
In the midst of deadly bombings and wearing parties in Italian politics, a film by Lina Wertmüller premiered in 1973 that trailed the suicide mission of a countryman set out to assassinate Benito Mussolini, set in the period of fascist Italy at a bordello in Rome. Torn between his mission with his conspirator Salome and his unexpected lover Tripolina, Tunin struggles to decide what is more important to him in his last few days of life before the assassination, love or anarchy. With its controversial title and heated subject matter, it's no surprise that the film left critics in a tizzy of debate. Was the film insensitive to the current ongoings of terrorist activity in Italy and past anarchist sacrifices for a better life? And was Wertmüller trying to make a point about the futility of individual anarchist behavior with the cut and dry, no frills attached conclusion of the film? The sensationalism of the word anarchy and what it meant to be an anarchist is what sets most politicos off, pointing to Tunin's naivete and reliance on gut hatred of oppression as a misinterpretation of what it means to be an anarchist of Italian society, both at present and during the fascist regime.
Pigmei affamati, pronti a farsela sotto e a calarsi le brache. Si venderebbero anche la sorella e il culo per un tozzo di pane. Questo gli è il popolo, il popolo. Quei maiali di socialistici si riempivano la bocca col popolo. Maledetti. È la miseria sul comandante. Sa, il coraggio è una roba da signori. Me, per esempio, sono di famiglia contadina, no? E a me, la mia mamma, il prete e tutti quanti, no? Mi ha sempre insegnato questo, cioè che è meglio chinare la schiena e campare che restare dritti e magari crepare.
Tunin's inevitable death at the end of the film reflects Wertmüller's ideology of the anarchist activity. Dissent is not the responsibility of only a few, but of all. Change does not entirely require the work of an expertly prepared assassin, but rather it is up to the unification of the average citizens to make an impact. Rather than opposing anarchists entirely, Wertmüller's film seeks to unify humans with common wants and needs in a way that is less destructive to society than terrorist actions and assassinations. Some critics would still argue this belittles the work of every anarchist who has died fighting for life, implying that their death was all for naught and only the effort of a collective group can bring success. While this has not been expressly spoken by the director, it is easy to imagine that during the mid-70s, in a time of political unrest and imminent threats, Wertmüller may have sought a more codified and tangibly effective way to progress towards a unified Italy, discrediting the individual anarchist as not enough to make the change she felt was needed. Life in the Neapolitan projects is harsh and incredibly hard to escape. This is far from a sugar-coated reality in Gomorrah, Matteo Garrone's screen adaptation of the much-acclaimed novel by journalist Roberto Saviano. The film and novel follow the Italian crime syndicate, the Gomorrah, and the sheer scope of its influence on all aspects of life in Naples, Italy. All ages, all social classes, all forms of consumption are affected by the exploits of the famous organization. The film loosely connects 5 separate stories of greed, dissipation, loss, and desperation. Garrone and Saviano both shared some of the same views on the burdening realities of modern-day society in places such as Naples. The influence of massive crime organizations have the ability and power to do as they wish with virtually no fear from opponents, even federal. Garrone states that his pessimism about the future of the world stems from the failure of morals, ethics, religion, judiciary, and government to solve systematic problems. There is absolutely no glamorization to the lives and lifestyles of those who fall into occupations within the Gomorrah, and an internal condemnation is felt for those who do nothing to fight the supremacy of the organization. Despondencies aside, Garrone makes it clear that it is the poor and innocent who eternally suffer. Crime lords and drug dealers take advantage of poor people everywhere, he says. Oppression makes people desperate. Desperation leads to the dissolution of morality and prudence. Gomorrah is a no-frills portrait of a tyrannized populace in a losing battle of will. Cinema has been used as a tool of ideological transmission since the first film was made, and this technique persists today as directors continue to explore the various ways in which their medium can tell a story. Whether it be commentary on the deterioration of social life like in The Great Beauty, the futility of individual dissent shown in Love and Anarchy, or the dangers of organized crime seen in Gomorrah. There is no doubt that the films presented in this essay serve as a platform for their respective directors to express a fear, a revelation, an opinion that holds urgency and elicits a call for change. To each of these directors, the story is personal. The issues are real. Using film as a venue to bring to light the issues of modern society in a non-documentative form truly illuminates the delicate line dividing life and art, showing the prowess of directors like Sorrentino, Wertmuller, and Garrone, who aim to serve a purpose that surpasses satiating the desire for casual Saturday evening entertainment, but rather challenges the viewer to criticize the world around them in a way that may not have ever been clear to them before.